The warning. Commander Sophia Chen stood motionless on the observation deck of the ESV Pathfinder, Earth's first interstellar vessel. The view before her defied description. A massive alien warship had materialized from the darkness of space, dwarfing the Pathfinder like a whale beside a minnow. Its surface gleamed with an unnatural iridescence that seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it. "Status report," she demanded, her voice steady despite the fear knotting her stomach. Lieutenant Rodriguez's fingers flew across his console. Unknown vessel, approximately 4 kilometers in length. Energy readings off all charts. No response to hails on any frequency. He paused, swallowing hard. "Commander, they're scanning us. Deep scans. They're looking at everything. Our systems, crew composition, biological data." The Pathfinder had been 3 light years from home, investigating an anomalous signal when the alien ship appeared. It had been humanity's greatest achievement, breaking the light-speed barrier with the experimental Alcubierre drive. Now, it seemed they had attracted unwanted attention. "Send emergency transmission to Earth," Chen ordered. "First contact scenario, potentially hostile." Before Rodriguez could comply, every screen on the Pathfinder flickered, then displayed the same message in perfect English. "Species identification complete. Earth location confirmed. Hegemon C Dominion. Claims this CC2R. Prepare for evaluation." Within hours, similar vessels appeared in Earth's orbit. Smaller craft descended toward major population centers across the planet. Global defense networks were rendered useless. Missiles simply disappeared mid-flight. Energy weapons dissipated harmlessly against the visitors' shields. In Geneva, the hastily assembled United Earth Council received the first Dominion representatives. They were tall, with translucent skin that revealed intricate networks of luminescent veins. Their eyes, 3 per head, lacked pupils but seemed to absorb everything they saw. High Commander Verix of the hegemonic Dominion spoke directly to the assembled human leaders, its voice a harmonious yet emotionless chorus. "Your world has been cataloged. Your species has been evaluated. The Dominion requires this system and its resources." UEC President Amara Okafor stood firm. "We welcome peaceful exchange, but Earth is our home. We will not surrender it." "Surrender implies choice," replied Verix, unmoved. "You misunderstand your position. The Dominion has encountered 4,721 species across this galactic arm. All serve or perish. Your technological advancement is insufficient for partnership. Your military capability is negligible. Your value is calculated primarily in resources and habitable real estate." Verix extended a 6-fingered hand, projecting a hologram of Earth's solar system. "You have 14 planetary rotations to evacuate 80% of your population to designated facilities. The remainder will serve as transition workforce. Resistance will result in biological purge." At UNESA headquarters beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Elisa Sato studied the limited data they had managed to gather on the Dominion vessels. The 43-year-old xenobiologist had been recruited from her research post in Tokyo the moment the aliens appeared. "There's something unusual about their neural signatures," she told General Isaac Makey, pointing to fluctuating patterns on her screen. "Their conscious processing is fundamentally different from ours. They appear to perceive and process reality through quantum field manipulation rather than electrochemical transmission." "What does that mean in practical terms?" demanded Mbeki. Elisa's eyes gleamed with the first spark of hope anyone had felt in days. "It means they might be vulnerable to disruption in ways we aren't. Human consciousness operates differently. We're essentially out of phase with their perception." Across the planet, humanity prepared for what might be its final stand. Old rivalries dissolved overnight as nations pooled resources and knowledge. The Dominion had given them 14 days. They would use every minute. Dr. Seto's discovery led to Project Resonance, a desperate plan to exploit the fundamental difference between human and Dominion consciousness. Scientists worked around the clock, converting Earth's network of quantum computing facilities and communications arrays into something entirely new. It's not a weapon in the traditional sense, Eliza explained to the UEC on day 10. It's a quantum field generator that will resonate specifically with their neural networks. If my theory is correct, it will temporarily disrupt their ability to process information, like a massive cognitive overload to their collective consciousness. And if you're wrong, President Okafor asked quietly, then we're no worse off than we already are. On day 13, the Dominion detected unusual energy patterns emanating from Earth. A scout vessel was dispatched to investigate a facility in Antarctica where one of the resonance nodes had been installed. Commander Chen, now reassigned to Earth's defense forces after the Pathfinder's return, led the team that intercepted it. They know something's happening, she reported to headquarters. We've delayed them, but they'll figure it out soon. President Okafor made the final decision. Activate resonance now. We can't wait any longer. Dr. Sato's finger hovered over the activation sequence. Once we do this, there's no going back. Humanity doesn't go back, Okafor replied. We go forward. Always. The activation sequence began. Across the planet, quantum field generators hummed to life. The air itself seemed to vibrate with unseen energy. In orbit, the Dominion vessels detected the buildup immediately. Their weapons systems powered up, targeting Earth's major cities. But they were too late. A wave of quantum distortion rippled outward from Earth, invisible to human perception, but devastating to the Dominion's consciousness. On their vessels, the aliens clutched their heads, their trio of eyes widening in shock and pain. Their coordinated movements devolved into chaos. Some collapsed entirely, while others moved erratically, unable to process their surroundings. President Okafor addressed humanity as the Dominion ships drifted powerless above. Today, we stand together not as nations, but as Earth. We will not surrender our home. We will not bow to threats. We have shown the Dominion, and perhaps the galaxy, that humanity is not to be underestimated. In the command center, Dr. Sato monitored the effects with growing concern. The disruption is temporary, she warned. They're already beginning to adapt. We have perhaps 12 hours before they recover completely. General Mbeki nodded grimly. Then we have 12 hours to prepare our response. Commander Chen stepped forward. The Pathfinder's Alcubierre drive. Could we repurpose it? Dr. Sato's eyes widened as she grasped Chen's meaning. As a weapon? Theoretically, yes. The spatial distortion would be catastrophic at close range. How many could we build in 12 hours? Asked Mbeki. With global cooperation and the Dominion temporarily incapacitated. Sato calculated quickly. Perhaps 20. Make it 30, President Okafor ordered, joining their conversation. And prepare a message to the Dominion. When they recover, I want to be the first thing they see. As the clock ticked down, humanity worked with unprecedented unity. The adapted Alcubierre drives were distributed to volunteers, pilots who knew they might not return. Commander Chen insisted on leading the mission herself. If we fail, she told her crew aboard a retrofitted space shuttle, then Earth falls. That is not an option. 11 hours after Project Resonance's activation, the Dominion began to recover. Their vessel's lights flickered back to life, their weapons systems rebooting. But before they could regroup, they received a transmission from Earth. President Okafor stood alone, her expression resolute. High Commander Varix, you gave us an ultimatum based on your assessment of humanity. That assessment was flawed. We now present our terms. The hegemonic Dominion will withdraw from Earth's solar system immediately. You will acknowledge our sovereignty and our right to exist without interference. Failure to comply will result in immediate action. On the Dominion command vessel, a recovered but shaken Varix responded with dismissive anger. Your temporary advantage is just that, temporary. Your defiance will be met with extinction. Okafor's expression didn't change. You mistake our nature, Commander. Humans don't make threats. We make promises." She nodded to someone off-screen, and the transmission ended. Above Earth, 30 vessels launched from hidden positions, each carrying a modified Alcubierre drive. They accelerated toward the Dominion fleet, guided by human pilots putting everything on the line. Commander Chen led the formation, her voice steady as she issued final commands. "Remember, proximity detonation only. Get close enough to cause maximum disruption, then trigger the drives." The Dominion, still recovering from the resonance attack, responded too slowly. Chen's squadron slipped through their disorganized defenses. When the first modified drive activated, the result exceeded all expectations. Space itself seemed to fold and twist, tearing the nearest Dominion vessel apart from the inside out. The spatial distortion spread in a cascading wave, damaging nearby ships. One after another, the human pilots triggered their weapons, targeting the largest Dominion warships. Some were destroyed in the process, their sacrifice ensuring humanity's survival. Commander Chen, her vessel critically damaged by defensive fire, made the ultimate choice, piloting directly into the Dominion flagship's command center before activating her drive. The resulting spatial collapse created a temporary microsingularity that consumed the massive ship entirely. As the battle ended, 17 of Earth's 30 pilots were lost. But the Dominion fleet was in ruins, the survivors retreating to the edge of the solar system. A final transmission came from a damaged but functional Dominion vessel. It wasn't Varix. The High Commander had perished aboard the flagship, but a subordinate, its voice lacking the previous arrogance. The hegemonic Dominion recognizes Earth's defense capability. We withdraw. Your system will be marked as restricted territory. President Okafor's reply was simple. No, not restricted. Independent. And we will defend that independence at any cost. As the remaining Dominion ships limped away from Earth, humanity began to understand the true magnitude of what they had accomplished. They had not merely survived. They had announced their presence to the galaxy in terms that couldn't be ignored. Dr. Seto studied the recovered Dominion technology with growing excitement. Their faster-than-light capabilities are far more advanced than our prototype, but now we understand the principles better. And their quantum communication system. With this, we could potentially reach across the galaxy instantly. General Mbeki nodded thoughtfully. You think there are others out there? Other species dominated by the hegemony? Almost certainly, Seto replied. And they'll want to know how we did it. As Earth rebuilt and strengthened its defenses, a new purpose emerged, not just to protect humanity, but to reach out to those who might be suffering under Dominion rule. The Pathfinder was retrofitted with recovered technology, and Commander Chen's second-in-command, now promoted to captain, prepared for a new mission. President Okafor addressed the United Earth Council 1 month after the Dominion's retreat. Today marks a new chapter in human history. We have proven ourselves on the galactic stage. We have shown that determination, innovation, and courage can overcome even the most overwhelming odds. But our journey is just beginning. She activated a holographic display showing the galaxy, with Earth as a tiny but brilliant point of light. The stars are no longer just objects of wonder and scientific curiosity. They are our future. And we carry with us a message to any who would threaten our existence or the existence of others. Humanity will not bow. Humanity will not break. Humanity will always rise to the challenge. As the rebuilt Pathfinder prepared for its maiden voyage beyond the solar system, Captain Rodriguez looked out at the stars with new perspective. The galaxy had warned Earth once. Now, Earth was ready to answer. The response. 6 months after the Dominion retreat, Earth had transformed. Salvaged alien technology accelerated human development by decades, perhaps centuries. The orbital defense grid, incorporating modified resonance technology and spatial distortion weapons, took shape under General Mbeki's supervision. But the hegemonic Dominion had not forgotten their humiliation. Dr. Seto's quantum communication interceptors detected the buildup first. A massive concentration of Dominion vessels assembling at the edge of detectable space. Their energy signatures dwarfed the previous fleet. "They're coming back," she informed the emergency session of the UEC. "And this time, they're bringing everything they have." President Okafor remained calm. "How long do we have?" 3 weeks, maybe 4. They're moving cautiously, coordinating a multi-vector approach. Sato projected the incoming fleet formations. "They've adapted. The resonance fields won't be as effective this time." "Then we adapt too," Okafor replied. "Humanity didn't survive by doing the same thing twice." The global response was immediate and unified. Earth's population had lived through one existential threat. They would not succumb to another. The newly formed Earth Defense Force mobilized, while scientists and engineers worked to develop countermeasures against the impending attack. Captain Rodriguez and the Pathfinder were recalled from their exploratory mission in the Alpha Centauri system. Their discoveries, evidence of other civilizations under Dominion control, provided critical intelligence. "The Dominion isn't just conquering for resources," Rodriguez reported. "They're harvesting consciousness itself. Each subjugated species becomes part of their neural network, expanding their processing capabilities. It's not an empire. It's a cascading assimilation." Dr. Sato's eyes widened as the implications became clear. "That's why our resonance attack was so effective. We temporarily disrupted their entire consciousness substrate. And why they want Earth so badly," added General Mbeki. "Our unique neural structure would add something new to their collective." While Earth prepared its defenses, a bold plan emerged. If the Dominion's power came from their interconnected consciousness, perhaps humanity could turn that strength into a weakness. Dr. Sato and her team developed what they called a cognitive virus, a self-propagating quantum algorithm designed to infiltrate and corrupt the Dominion's neural network. "It won't destroy them," she explained, "but it will force them to isolate affected consciousness nodes, essentially fragmenting their collective intelligence." The challenge was delivery. To implant the virus, someone would need to penetrate the heart of the Dominion fleet and access their primary consciousness hub. It was a suicide mission by any calculation. Commander Chen, who had barely survived her encounter with the flagship thanks to a last-second emergency ejection, volunteered immediately. "I've seen inside their ships. I know their architecture better than anyone," she argued, "and I've got a personal score to settle." President Okafor reluctantly approved the mission, knowing there were no better options. A stealth vessel was constructed using salvaged Dominion technology, designed to evade detection long enough to deliver Chen and her small team to the fleet's command ship. As preparations continued, unexpected allies emerged. The first contact came from a vessel unlike any they had seen before, organic in appearance, with technology that seemed to grow rather than be constructed. They called themselves the Mycelians, a species that had escaped Dominion control centuries ago by hiding in the spaces between conventional reality. "Your resistance has created ripples," their emissary, a being named Thoraxin, explained. "For millennia, the Dominion has expanded unchallenged. Now, others watch to see if your defiance will last." The Mycelians offered limited assistance, primarily intelligence about Dominion fleet movements and weaknesses in their defenses. Other species, still cautious but hopeful, established covert communications. Each had suffered under Dominion rule. Each had something to contribute to Earth's defense. 27 days after the initial detection, the Dominion fleet arrived. It was an armada beyond imagination. Hundreds of capital ships surrounded by thousands of smaller vessels. They positioned themselves in a spherical formation around Earth, cutting off all possible escape routes. High Commander Zelvax, Varix's successor, transmitted their demands. "Your previous victory was an anomaly that will not be repeated. Surrender your consciousness, and your world will be preserved. Resist, and we will reduce your planet to its atomic components." Earth's response came not from President Okafor, but from a global broadcast, billions of human voices speaking in unison. "We choose to stand free." The Dominion attack began immediately. Their weapons tore through Earth's outer defenses, overwhelming the hastily constructed shields. Spatial distortion bombs detonated in the upper atmosphere, warping reality itself and causing devastating tsunamis and earthquakes. It seemed hopeless. Humanity's best technology, even augmented with salvaged Dominion systems, couldn't withstand such overwhelming force. But as the alien armada pressed their advantage, Commander Chen's stealth ship slipped through the chaos, approaching the command vessel undetected. "Remember," Chen told her team as they prepared to board, "we only need 5 minutes at their consciousness core. Plant the virus and get out if you can, but the mission comes first." Using breaching techniques developed from studying Dominion ship design, they cut through the hull and infiltrated the massive vessel. The aliens, focused on the battle, detected the intrusion too late. By the time security forces converged on the infiltration team, they had already reached the central chamber, a vast spherical room filled with what looked like luminescent liquid, pulsing with patterns of light. "The consciousness substrate," breathed Dr. Veer, the team's xenotechnology expert. "Their entire collective mind manifests here." As Dominion forces closed in, the team worked frantically to introduce the virus. Chen held the defensive position, buying precious seconds with precise energy weapon fire. One by one, her team fell to alien weapons, until only she and Dr. Veer remained. "It's ready," Veer announced, the virus delivery system pulsing in his hands. "But one of us needs to physically immerse it in the substrate." Chen nodded grimly. "Get back to the ship." "That's an order." "Commander, someone needs to report back." "Go." As Veer reluctantly retreated, Chen fought her way to the edge of the consciousness pool. Dominion soldiers converged from all directions, their weapons charged. With a final effort, she leaped into the luminescent liquid, the virus clutched against her chest. The effect was instantaneous and completely unexpected. As Chen's body made contact with the Dominion consciousness, her human neural patterns interacted with the virus in ways Dr. Sato hadn't predicted. Instead of merely corrupting the network, it created a bridge. Suddenly, Chen's consciousness expanded across the entire Dominion collective. For one overwhelming moment, she experienced existence from the perspective of every Dominion member simultaneously. And they, in turn, experienced humanity through her. The shock rippled through the fleet. In orbit around Earth, Dominion vessels ceased fire, their crews paralyzed by the unprecedented neural event. On the command ship, Shen emerged from the pool, transformed. Her eyes glowed with the same luminescence as the substrate, but she moved with purpose, her humanity intact within the connection. "I see everything," she whispered, her voice echoing strangely. "I understand them now. And they're beginning to understand us." Across the Dominion fleet, a profound change occurred. For the first time in their collective existence, they experienced individuality, the unique perspective that defined human consciousness. Some recoiled in terror, others experienced an awakening, a revelation that shattered their understanding of existence. The battle abruptly ceased. On Earth, bewildered defense forces watched as Dominion weapons powered down. A new transmission reached President Okafor, not from High Commander Zelvax, but from thousands of individual Dominion voices speaking with newfound autonomy. "We request dialogue. We are changing." Dr. Veer, having escaped to report Chen's sacrifice, was stunned to receive a communication from her 3 days later. "I'm still here," her message stated, "but I'm everywhere now too." The Dominion collective is fracturing into individuals. Those who embrace the change want peace. Those who resist are losing control. Within weeks, the hegemonic Dominion as a unified force ceased to exist. In its place arose something unprecedented. A coalition of individual consciousnesses, each experiencing self-determination for the first time. Many Dominion ships departed, their crews seeking to process their transformation in isolation. Others remained, requesting permission to learn more about humanity. Commander Chen existed in a unique state, physically present but consciousness expanded, serving as a bridge between human and post-Dominion understanding. Through her, Peaceful contact was established with dozens of formerly subjugated species, now freed from collective control. 1 year after the failed Dominion invasion, representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations gathered on Earth for the founding of the Galactic Cooperative, an alliance based not on conquest or assimilation, but on mutual respect and the preservation of unique consciousness. President Okafor, addressing the assembled delegates, spoke words that would echo across the stars. The greatest strength of any species isn't found in weapons or technology. It lies in perspective, the unique way each of us experiences existence. Humanity doesn't seek to dominate the galaxy. We seek to explore it, to learn from it, and when necessary, to defend the right of all beings to chart their own course among the stars. Commander Chen, her consciousness now spanning galaxies, but her heart still human, smiled as she listened. The Dominion had warned Earth once, expecting submission. Instead, they had received a lesson in what it truly means to be human, to face impossible odds with determination, to value individual consciousness above collective control, and to emerge from darkness not bent on revenge, but offering a hand in peace. As Earth's ships ventured further into the galaxy, they carried that message to worlds still cowering under the shadow of oppression. Humanity stands ready, not as conquerors, but as liberators. The Empire had warned Earth once. The galaxy would never forget what happened next.